We have reason to be holy. Find out why you should be holy in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. I'm not a fan of going to the grocery store. I am, however, a fan of eating. To do one, somebody has to do the other. An empty fridge does not a happy stomach make. Eating is a good reason to put up with the checkout line. Leviticus chapter 20 gives us a reason to be holy. Verses 7 and 8 say, "Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you." When the people of Israel entered the Promised Land, they would encounter the temptation to follow some of the practices of the neighboring nations. These practices included child sacrifice, the consultation of evil spirits, and much more. God doesn't mince words about any of this. The heinous or the ridiculous were all based on the same tragic mistake, ignoring the one true God. God's people were to be holy because God is holy. That's what he says in verse 7. "Consecrate yourselves and be holy, because I am the Lord your God." The word for consecrate means to keep yourself from all other gods and the abominable practices that went with following those false gods. It meant to be entirely devoted to the one true God. Why? Because he was the one true God. They were to be holy because God is holy. Following this verse, the Bible lists several areas where the people of Israel might find the temptation to fall short, primarily the immorality that resulted from the worship of false gods and idols. Once the true God was out of the picture, it opened the floodgates to all kinds of ridiculous living. It would be easy for the people of Israel to blame this on everybody else, but the truth was the nation couldn't keep the commands of God. The people kept the commands of God. As the individual people went, so went the nation. When you bake, it's essential to have the right ingredients. I once tried to follow a recipe for mighty mini meat muffins. It was supposed to be a cupcake-sized meatloaf. The recipe called for cornmeal. We didn't have any, so I used the closest thing I could find, malto meal. Not the same stuff. Instead of mighty mini meat muffins, we had mighty mini meat mush. It was terrible. The ingredients are what make all the difference in the dish. The nation of Israel could not be what God created it to be if the people of Israel were not what God created them to be. We need to remember the same truth. Our nation will not be what God desires it to be until our churches are what God desires them to be. Our churches will not be what God desires them to be until the people in the churches are the people God desires us to be. What's the best thing you can do to strengthen our nation? Take a good look in the mirror. Or more specifically, take a good look in the Bible, using it as a mirror to your life. We all have those areas that are out of place, less than what God would desire them to be. Seek to consecrate yourself, to keep yourself from anything that draws you away from God. Instead, fill your life with those things that encourage you to live the Word of God, because now you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.